Here's my analysis of the Baylor versus number 16 Oklahoma women's basketball game. First of all, I went to overtime, 98-92 in favor of Oklahoma. As we all know, Baylor led the game for majority of the game until overtime. Sure, it was tied at the very end in overtime. I mean, at 83 apiece. But Baylor gave this game away. And I'll explain why. They missed 6 free throws in regulation. All 6 misses, regulation. Turnovers at the very end. And I will say, by the letter of the law, in terms of fouls or not, Oklahoma was fouling twice. Refs didn't call it. But at the end of the day, you got to make some plays to win the game. And that turnover to give Taylor Robertson a 3, you can't allow that to happen. You just simply can't. And every aspect of the game, like points off turnovers, points in the paint, bench points, you name it, and second chance points as well, Oklahoma got it. I mean, they won the game that way. Besides self-inflicted mistakes by Baylor. Oklahoma for the game shot 44% from the field. 37 for 84 overall. But on threes, Oklahoma made 10 of those out of 35, 28.6%. That's good defense. But too bad you just couldn't stop Taylor Robertson one more time. If she would have missed a 3 in regulation, we got the rebound, then there was going to be free throws. Then 14 for 18 on free throws for Oklahoma, 77.8%. 44 rebounds, 17 of those offensive. 26 assists, 12 steals, which is way too much. 5 blocks, that's way too much to allow. 15 turnovers. Did a good job there. It's just it needs to be more. 22 fouls, but Oklahoma had 31 points off the bench. Baylor only had 20, which is not bad, but Baylor shot 44.4% from the field, which is better than Oklahoma, 32 for 72 overall. 11 for 28 on threes, which that's really good, but 17 for 23 on free throws, which is 73.9%. All those free throws, like I said, were in regulation. If Baylor would have made one more free throw, we didn't have to worry about the Taylor Robertson 3 at the very end, like with 14 seconds left. Sure, or even 2 or 3 of those. 46 rebounds, 15 of those offensive. We out-rebounded them, but that's, and the shooting percentage is pretty good from like 3 and from the field, but free throws could have been better. It's not like a bad number. I'm just saying it really was the biggest issue in the game. One of the bigger ones. 25 assists, though. That's pretty good. 6 steals. Not as good as Oklahoma's 12. 2 blocks. But 21 turnovers. That's way too much. That's another bugaboo. Besides the free throws. Baylor self-inflicted with those. As well as the free throws. That's self-inflicted. And 17 fouls, which they didn't have much foul trouble. Not a ton. Now, individual numbers are going to go over. Jamie Asbury had a rough day shooting, despite getting 11 points. 5 for 19 shooting, 1 for 5 on threes, 0 for 2 on free throws. I know usually she can make at least 1 out of 2, if not 2 out of 2. But I'm not going to talk about the free throw bug on this, as well as what Sarah Andrews did. And she normally makes free throws too, and she didn't make 1 out of 2, or 2 out of 2. 4 rebounds, 3 turnovers, 2 fouls. Some of those turnovers were like, shoot the ball. They were ready to catch the ball from you. Jaden Owens, 7 points on 2 for 6 shooting, 1 for 2 on threes, 2 for 2 on free throws, 4 rebounds, 14 assists. That's a good number. 2 steals, 1 block. But 5 turnovers, that's way too much. Three fouls. Sarah Andrews had 20 points, but she shot 8 for 19 for the game, 4 for 10 on threes, 0 for 2 on free throws, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 turnovers, 3 fouls. Bella Fonroy was a little bit quiet. 4 points on 2 for 4 shooting, 6 rebounds, 1 turnover, 2 fouls. Kaylin Bickle had a career high 30 points on 8 for 11 shooting, 4 for 7 on threes, 10 for 10 on free throws, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 4 turnovers, which is way too much, and 4 fouls. Darren LePage Buggs had a double-double in this game. 14 points on 5 for 8 shooting, 4 for 6 on free throws, only if she would have made one of those in regulation or even both. You would have won the game. 17 rebounds. 5 of those were on the offensive end. Bella's 6 out of those 6 rebounds she had, 3 of those offensive, and Caitlin's 3 rebounds, 2 were offensive. So, we were doing a good job on the glass. 1 assist, 3 steals, 1 block, 2 turnovers, 3 fouls. Jan Van Geijenbeek had 6 points on 2 for 5 shooting, 1 for 4 on threes, 1 for 1 on free throws, 2 assists. That's it. Well, I'm going to just address this right now. No need to talk about we need to move on from Nikki Conn here. There's no need. You got to consider it takes time to build a program her way. I mean, the previous coach couldn't do it overnight either. Trust me. And when you look at the stats too, yeah. And not only that, this team has had a bad hand all year long. Injuries, especially Asia Blackwell. And no Dre Edwards because of that stupid Kentucky coach who refused to sign a waiver despite being in favor of empowering women and showing kindness to players. She's a hypocrite. I'm just going to go out there and say it. Of course, no Kendra Gillespie as well, since that first Oklahoma meeting due to personal issues. That doesn't help cause. We played a tough schedule, too. I mean, 9 ranked opponents all year long. So, and we're playing 2 freshmen at that. I mean, and one of those turnovers was underneath our own basket where we were trying to defend, and we threw it straight at the Oklahoma player. I know Nikki Collins said this on the radio. She advises players not to do that. So it's not all on her. It's on the players. We just couldn't make enough plays to win. And they were not tough enough in overtime. And they were just down on themselves for, are you kidding me? We are in overtime despite being the better team playing that day for 39 minutes, 45 seconds. I mean, it's the truth. We just got tired. And she did say that too. Like, with that Oklahoma's depth compared to us, I mean, that's a difference. And let's just wait and see what happens the rest of the year first, because at this point, it shouldn't really matter if we win conference or not. Let's just try to get the highest seed in the NCAA tournament as possible and move on from this hard loss at home. I mean, I know before the game yesterday we were a 5 seed. We're not that far off from being necessarily a 4. And hopefully we get a rematch with them. Though I don't like to play them again, preferably. But you have to consider we need all the quality wins we could get. And this would be, like a ranked win. This would be one of them. This could be another one. Now, going forward for both teams. Oklahoma has to go on the road to Kansas State. Kansas State beat Iowa State, so better beware, Oklahoma. Then Oklahoma plays Texas Tech. They're on the bubble right now. They need all the wins they could get. So beware, Oklahoma. On the road to Kansas. Well, that's tough. They're a good team despite their record in conference. They have to play Texas again, and yeah. And I'm just gonna go right ahead and mention both games in March because at this point, that's just one game short. I mean, you got Kansas State at home. Maybe you win Kansas State at home, but maybe not on the road. At Oklahoma State, remember, Oklahoma, you survived that game against Oklahoma State last time. So, as you could tell, there are losable games for Oklahoma on the schedule. I'm not going to deny that same thing for Baylor here. They're tied for third place in the conference right now. It's not that it's out of reach. It's not, because I don't expect Texas women's basketball to win out by any stretch of the imagination. They could even lose 3 games down the stretch. Now, we just got to move this game behind us and get some rest and recover and learn from this loss. We have to go on the road to Oklahoma State next. They beat us at home. We got to be better than last time against them and better than last game, obviously. Then you got to go on the road to Kansas State. Kansas State is probably like one of those bubble teams or considerable on mention for that. You got at home against Iowa State. That's number 21, and we beat them there. So that's a possible. We could very well win the next 3 games despite 2 of those on the road. At TCU, should we really have to worry about that? No. Yes, it's on the road. That could be a little bit dangerous, but TCU's winless in conference. Then you got Texas Tech at home. We beat them already there by a bunch. Back in January, by 20 points. So possibly we could win that game. Then you go on the road to Texas, which it seems like we're better on the road against these ranked teams than at home, which is strange. But maybe we could do better at home against Iowa State and win the rest of the home games. And you got West Virginia at the very end of the year. And West Virginia, I think, will be better. We'll be more prepared for them this time. Because remember, they have a first-year head coach there. And all that. So, there are a lot of winnable games, but I will say it's not like a given. The conference is the conference. Now, in terms of the Big 12 standings, Texas is 9-2 currently. Oklahoma is 9-3. We are tied with Iowa State at 7-4 apiece. I mean, though Iowa State women play, they don't play tonight. They don't play until Saturday, until West Virginia. Oklahoma State's 7-5. We need to win that game against them just to get closer to Oklahoma right now. Because like I said, I don't expect Oklahoma to win out the rest of the way. I don't. I think they lose at least twice. Possibly even 3 times. At least once. Maybe even twice or 3 times. Kansas, that's 4-6. We already played them already. Thank goodness. We already played them twice at that. And hopefully we beat West Virginia at home. Tech's 4-6 in the conference. We should win that game at home, in theory. Kansas State, we get to play them on the road. That's dangerous because they beat Iowa State. But we should win that game. And of course, TCU's 0-11 right now. So we should win that game. So it's really, you got to take care of the standings behind you at this point to get yourself a fighting chance. Besides having Texas lose to, I don't know, maybe Texas Tech could beat them tonight. They beat them in Lubbock, but I know it's difficult to do it twice. Maybe Texas goes on the road and loses to Iowa State or Oklahoma or even both. And then we beat them there. And maybe Texas loses to Kansas State as well. I mean, there's still a possibility that Texas will lose twice the rest of the year. It's not out of the question here. And we could be one of those teams that can knock them off. As of course, Oklahoma, they could very well lose on the road to Kansas State. They could lose on the road to Kansas. Texas Tech is kind of dangerous. Kind of. But they're at home. And they beat them there last time by 10. So, and of course, they could very well lose to Texas as well. So, there's still a possibility they could lose. I think they for sure lose one game. And, of course, Oklahoma State is tough. And they're going to get Kansas State twice down the stretch, which they could very well lose on the road to Kansas State and then beat Kansas State at home. That's that possibility. I think they split. I do think Kansas will beat Oklahoma. I mean, I do. This Oklahoma team is just like last year's. I mean, the only way they're going to win games is just to outscore. It's not their defense. Though they are scrappy. And they just reach in so much to the point they don't want refs to call every single thing. I mean, that's the truth. They could lose on the road to Oklahoma State. They better survive them at home. So, yeah. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 possible losses. Or even 5 if you include Texas Tech. Even though that game's in Norman. We'll just have to control our own destiny. And then see what we do. Because, look. It doesn't matter if we win the conference or not. Yes, it matters in a way. But let's try and get ready for March. I mean, for the NCAA tournament, Big 12 tournament, and NCAA tournament here. Because we need to finish the regular season strong the rest of the way in order to give ourselves a fighting chance for a 4 seed, which would be a victory in my book for the NCAA tournament. Because, look, with all the injuries and no Dre Edwards, I'd take it in a heartbeat. And you would too. But if we have to go on the road somewhere, fine, so be it. But it seems like we're better on the road against ranked better teams than we are at home sometimes. So we have to beat Iowa State at home. That is a must. That's a must-win game. So, anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. And see you guys later. 5 subscribers, we're on the road to it. Let's go. And I know I already kind of discussed this earlier. I'm not sure I did. It's been a long video, I know. The plan is to get a center that's tall, with height. And 2 guards similar, Asbury, except taller, in the transfer portal. And then possibly might add another freshman at 2. So, besides a 6'7" girl that's coming in, Leticia Vasconcelos or something like that. You know, the 2023 recruit that's signed already. So, it's all good. We're going to try to get more height. I know.